This video is going to cover how I personally fit up my pipe, and I'm going to go over the amp range, size of filler rods used, gap, and landing size. This is for the Weld 208 Advanced Pipe Welding, or also known as gas Thompson arc welding a pipe or TIG welding a pipe. So I'm going to go over how I personally set up my machine and how I choose my gap and land and what filler size I'm using. So for my pipe, whether I'm doing a 2G, a 5G, or a 6G, I use a loose 1/8 inch gap, okay? For my filler rod, I'm using the same size, so an 1/8 inch ER70S-2 or 6 filler rod. For my root pass, the amp setting, I'm roughly between 90 to 95. For my hot pass amp setting, I'm roughly at 123 to 125. For my filler passes to cap amp setting, I'm roughly between 125 to 135. For my pipe, I don't put a land on it at all. I leave that sharp beveled edge. That way I know I'm getting 100% penetration no matter if I'm doing a 2G, a 5G, or a 6G. So I'm going to go over different types of ways that you can set up your pipe and what amp range you should be in. So, for a 16th gap using a 16th filler rod, I do not recommend. You don't get enough root reinforcement or penetration. So I'm going to move on to the 3/32 gap using a 16th land or no land. So the amp range for the root, you're roughly between 80 to 88. For your hot pass amp range, you're roughly at the same plus 5 to 10 amps. Filler passes to cap amp range is roughly 80 to 90 plus 5 to 10 amps. Right here, I'm going to go over if you're using an 1/8 inch filler rod. So root pass roughly between 80 to 115. Hot pass roughly 90 to 150. Filler passes to cap roughly 90 to 150. This is all dependent on what land you're using, what gap size you're using, and whether you move a little bit slower or faster whenever you're welding on your pipe. So these are just giving you a range of what you can be in. You can try out using a 3/32 gap, you can try out using an 1/8 inch gap. I'm just going on, ranges that you can stay in and how to fit it up, but this is my personal preference on how I weld my 2G, 5G, and 6G. As always, if you have any questions, whenever we go down to the shop, I'll go over anything and I'll do a demonstration on that. So as always, if you have any questions, just let me know. And that's all that this video is going to cover. Thanks.